Hello, I'm Josie Wagner.
And I'm Gus Davis. Welcome to TMN Television on Thursday, February 20th. Tonight we take a look at the university's budget and enrollment expectations for the upcoming year. We also check out another installment of Real People and a new segment called Humans of Kirksville.
And don't forget to stay tuned for our Truman Sports Update. These stories and more tonight on TMN Television. You don't want to miss this. Truman State University is projecting low enrollment numbers for the 2020-2021 school year, continuing a downward trend for enrollment. Tiana Lang, Vice President for Enrollment, Management, and Marketing, says the university is hoping to receive 925 full-time freshman students. The original goal for the fall semester was 1,075. The amount of full-time first-time freshmen for the 2019-2020 school year was 899. Lang hopes to stay steady around 900 students and hopefully surpass it. Enrollment is one of the university's main sources of income, with state funding being one of the other main ways for the university to get income. The low projections will negatively impact the budget for the next year. Dave Rector, Vice President for Administration, Finance, and Planning, says the university will lose roughly $1.2 million next year from enrollment numbers being down. He says the other budget concerns and payments result in roughly $1.7 million in total being lost for next year. A committee of faculty has been formed to look at ways to reduce costs on the academic side. Director of Admissions Tara Hart hopes to have enrollment numbers stay the same or increase slightly. 37 new students enrolled this spring. Hart says the main bulk of applicants are freshmen, but they always get transfer students.
Mainly we work with freshman students, but of course we always have transfer students. I want to say last year we had a little bit over 120, 130, and that's around our goal this year as well. Truman is not necessarily right now seen as an institution where people just naturally transfer to all the time.
Students interested in community service will have an opportunity to give back this March through TrueCare. TrueCare is an international service event created by the Truman Alumni Association. The program invites students and alumni to volunteer in their respective communities during the month of March and record their service hours. The service hours are then totaled up at the end of the month to see how much of an impact the Truman community makes by volunteering. Luke Callahan, Alumni Relations Coordinator, says TrueCare was constructed as a way of linking those affiliated with Truman across both generations and locations. Since TrueCare's foundation in 2017, service projects have been seen across Missouri, out of state, and even abroad. The program offers 9 free, organized, ready-to-go projects that people can sign up for in their communities. In addition to alumni and friends of the university, all projects from TrueCare are open to anybody who wants to give back to their community. Stacy Tucker Potter, Director of Engagement, says the plan was initially to engage alumni across state lines, but has since shifted towards an expansive campaign involving a range of participants. She says it's about giving back, making a better world for the next generation of Bulldogs moving forward. TrueCare has recorded volunteer efforts, such as a pet parade in St. Louis in support of pet adoption awareness, donations made to the Ronald McDonald House in Arizona, and charity events hosted by numerous Truman alumni chapters. This year's TrueCare efforts will culminate on March 28th in coordination with the 19th annual Big Event, the one-day service event held on Truman's campus. Students interested in participating in TrueCare this March can find a sign-up form on Truman's website under Alumni Events. Due to low enrollment and an increase in the cost of retirement packages, Truman State University is looking to save about $3 million in the next fiscal year. Terry Olson, chair of the advisory committee, finds funds to reallocate academic affairs and makes a recommendation to the provost and dean's council. Olson says the goal of the committee is to find at least the minimum sum of expenditure reductions needed out of the fiscal year 2021 budget. Janet Gooch, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, says Academic Affairs goes over the amount needed to save for the 2021 fiscal year. She says cutting the budget will have an impact, and Truman will have to make informed decisions in a short amount of time to mitigate the impact of the cuts. Gooch says the committee is trying to come up with some strategies for the future.
So close to $1.4 million but our committee is actually working to try to recuperate more than that so that we can do some strategic things moving into the future. So, 1.4 sounds like a lot, but when you're thinking about it relative to, 40 plus million, maybe it doesn't sound quite so much. But still a lot of money, and it has an impact, especially when you're trying to come up with the money quickly. And you want to do it smartly. You don't want to take away from areas that really need money. And that's the thing, that's one of our quests in the strategic planning process is, where do we want to grow as an institution? Where are our opportunities for growth? So we have to think about how we build the programs that we want to, and make new programs and make our current programs more attractive, and that takes money too. So we have to make sure we have money to do things that will help us get out of this enrollment decline. Although it sounds like a lot of money, I'm optimistic. I think that the group that we're working with is really focused and thinking about some really important data pieces to make informed decisions. And so, in spite of the fact that it's not a good deal, I'm optimistic that it'll work out and we'll be able to get through this.
Residence Life will be replacing hall directors' annual salaries with an hourly wage for a 40-hour work week, due to a change in the U.S. Department of Labor's salary level requirements, which took effect on January 1st. Residence Life Director Jamie Van Boxel said the new Fair and Labor Standards Act says that salaried professionals can be exempt from having to be paid overtime if they make at least $35,600. According to Dave Rector, Vice President for Administration, Finance, and Planning, hall directors earn $26,180, which is below the threshold for salaried employees. Therefore, Truman transitioned hall directors to a 40-hour work week while keeping the annual pay the same. The majority of other jobs on campus, however, are unaffected by this change in federal law. Hall directors are now supposed to track their own hours, but understand that according to the law, they cannot volunteer to work over 40 hours, but can request to work more hours. However, Van Boxel says the hall director has a supervisor and assistant director that they can work with if they have concerns about fitting their workload into 40 hours. Due to the nature of their jobs, however, hall directors may have issues managing their time. According to Van Boxel, they will use an online time clock system to record when they work more than 40 hours a week, which a supervisor will review and recommend corrections for over and under reporting, such as offering full compensation for the corrected time. Van Boxel says that this change will encourage hall directors to be efficient and engaged while working, as they are limited to 40 hours to complete their responsibilities. After the break, we have our Truman weather forecast with Amanda Sherman.
Cape Air, your wings to St. Louis, with nonstop service starting at just $29 each way. Enjoy free parking at the Kirksville Regional Airport. Then hop on one of our fast flights to St. Louis and be there in under an hour. You can take the Metrolink from the airport directly to your favorite downtown destination. Dine, shop, catch a game, or visit the zoo. Save time getting to St. Louis and more time enjoying St. Louis. Book today at capeair.com and enjoy the ride.
This week we'll get a little taste of spring, with the general trend being warmer days with chilly evenings and nights. Today we had a high of 27 with a low of 12. Tomorrow it will get a little warmer with a high of 41 and a low of 26. Saturday will give us a warm start to the weekend with a high of 52 and a low of 32. And on Sunday we will see some showers with a high of 54 and a low of 36. Monday we will jump back to winter weather with some rain expected, a high of 41 and a low of 31. Tuesday will be mostly cloudy with a high of 37 and a low of 25. Wednesday we might get some snow, a high of 30 and a low of 16. And on Thursday we will have a high of 27 and a low of 13. This has been your Truman Weather Update. Be sure to stay tuned after the break for the Truman Sports Update.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again,
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Truman's swim team recently faced off against St. Louis University for their annual Senior Day, where they recognize this year's departing seniors and celebrate the last time competing in Kirksville. This year, the women's team honored seniors Maggie Hickey, Michaela Kemp, Lauren Massett, Mackenzie Messenger, and Kaylee Sisson, while the men's team sent off Isla Giseski, Brendan Harris, Justin King, Austin Mayer, and Riley Olson. As for the meet, there was pressure for the Bulldogs to pull through with a win for their last competition at home. The Bulldogs made a strong start with swimmers Natalie Gonzalo, Ginny Schrack, and Allison Garrett, rounding out the first and the second and the third in the 100-meter breaststroke. Truman also claimed a first and second place in the 100-meter freestyle, with Alexis Poe taking first with a time of 54.28 seconds, and Allison Garrett finishing right behind at 54.44 seconds. Unfortunately, the Billikens caught up with this early lead, eventually winning 111 to 94. After the meet, Sisson, a departing senior, reflected on her time in the swim team. She says that she says it's a happy ending and she's not sad about her end of her swim career because everything has gone how she wanted. The baseball team finished off their series against Rogers State University on Sunday, losing both games to a doubleheader. RSU took the first game 7-0 and the second 13-2. The Bulldogs will be back on the road this coming weekend as they travel to Pittsburgh, Kansas to take on Upper Iowa for 2 and then Pittsburgh State for 2. The softball team will be opening their 2020 season with 4 games in Indianapolis, Indiana. Truman is coming off of a 32-19 season in 2019, which included a 14-12 record in the GLVC and a trip to the conference tournament. The Bulldogs were also picked 6th in the preseason GLVC coaches poll. All 3 of their opponents have games under their belt this season. The men's basketball team came 1 point short of winning their last game at the University of Indianapolis, while winning their prior 2 games by 1 point. In this game, Roderick Thomas scored 22 points and Hunter Strait scored 21 points, his highest this season. Tonight, the men's and women's teams are in Springfield playing Drury University. The Lady Bulldogs play 5:45 p.m. and the men play at 7:30 p.m.
Be sure to stay tuned after the break for Real People, Humans of Kirksville, and the first winner of our video contest.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Tonight we will take a look at the newest installment of our reoccurring series, Real People with Sam Elkins. This week's film is Parasite.
Back to Real People Season 2, Episode 4. This is Parasite Review. I'm your host, Sam Elkins, and I'm joined today once again by Jeremy Fink. Today, of course, we are reviewing the South Korean film Parasite, directed and written by the one and only Bong Joon-ho, famous writer and director of Snowpiercer and Okja and many other films that are absolutely terrific. So, if you haven't seen the film, this video is spoiler-free, so feel free to continue. All right, Parasite, initial thoughts. What did you think?
Ooh, I didn't expect to go see this film in theaters because it had missed me and I'd missed the opportunity. But during Christmas break or whatever, I was able to go back and catch it at the Tivoli in St. Louis. And I had no context whatsoever. All I'd been hearing was like the great reviews and how well it had done at Cannes. So I was excited going into it. I had seen Snowpiercer and Okja before, but they're so different in their own ways that I was just like, I don't know if that's a good definer for what I'm about to see. And
yeah, absolutely. I'm 100% on board because, so I was the same way. You know, Parasite did not come to Kirksville, unfortunately.
No.
So I didn't get a chance to see it there. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to, but then I decided to go to Kansas City for a weekend and was like, I have to go see it. It's playing at this one theater in Kansas City. So we went and saw it. I had seen Snowpiercer and Okja, and I'd also seen The Host. All three were really good movies by Bong Joon-ho. But yeah, even The Host, it's totally different than any of his films. Cannot be defined by genre because they're so unique and distinct in their own ways. And even like you can find some similarities between them, but like really as a whole, all his films are totally different.
They each just have their own specific set of like just vibes and tone, and it works so well.
Yes. So to describe Parasite, all I will say is that it is about a lower class family trying to reap all the benefits they can from an upper class family. That's all I'll say. Go into it blind. It's so much fun, and take your friends to go see it. We had already seen it, and then we had a lot of friends come together and watch it, and just hearing the reactions,
experiencing that in a fuller audience.
Yes,
it's just so good.
A full audience that's invested in it. Some of the highest praise that I've heard for it is that a quarter of the way through the movie, they forgot that they were even reading subtitles. Really, it's a tiny little hump to get over if you're on the fence about going to see this movie. See it. The film, to describe its genre, I would say that most accurate you can get is dark comedy.
You have been describing it like that a lot. And
yeah.
I feel like I agree with that to a point.
Yeah. Because you can
it's
argue...
Very hard. It's very hard.
You can... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the closest you can get to describing its genre. Yeah. Any other, like, and even then, there's like aspects. It's funny, it's dark. You know, it has just like familial drama in it. It even has some slight elements of horror, but a lot of elements of a thriller.
Yeah.
It just changes from act to act. It becomes. It feels almost, if it was done a little differently, it could feel like a different movie, each act.
Oh, definitely.
But the way he directed it made it flow so seamlessly.
It doesn't feel out of place when it shifts. No. It throws you, but in a good way.
In a good way. It's like, it's like when you're in a room and you feel it go cold. You're like, oh, yeah, it just got cold in here.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It throws you for a loop.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so final thoughts on Parasite. Must see. It is my favorite movie of 2019.
Definitely.
What do you think, Jeremy?
Oh, I mean, it's in my top 5. I mean, Knives Out was something I hadn't expected and I really enjoyed. But what Parasite does is it blows everything else out of the water.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. That's all the time we have today for Real People Season 2, Episode 4, Parasite review. Go see this movie.
Please.
Watch it. Rent it on Amazon. It's on digital. It's on DVD now. Go rent it somewhere. Wherever you can find it, watch it. I promise you will have feelings for this movie. That is a fact. Thanks for watching.
Tonight, we're introducing a new segment called Humans of Kirksville, where reporter Rachel Whitehouse and editors Matt Applegate and Wyatt Hoff ask people around Kirksville to share their stories.
Hi, I'm Leah Deeker. I just recently moved back to Kirksville in June to work with Campus Christian Fellowship, which is a ministry that is affiliated with Truman State University. I graduated from Truman in 2016. I completed the Master of Arts in Education program and plan to teach social studies. And I did do that for 2 years. I taught 8th grade U.S. history, and it was a lot of fun, and I did love it. But then I did decide to move back to Kirksville and work with Campus Christian Fellowship. Yesterday, I watched Will You Be My Neighbor, the documentary about Fred Rogers. I really liked it. I was never super familiar with Mr. Rogers, and this movie helped me to see his impact and his program's impact on people. You could see how different his program was from other TV shows at the time. More slower paced, more wholesome, filled with messages to children about their value and how to manage tough situations. The documentary showed so much footage of him interacting with young children and just showing them so much love and treating them with such dignity. It made me sad. In the movie, you could see the kids wide-eyed, so innocent, so fresh, just drinking in life, being told they matter and that they are unique and special. It was really uplifting, and I do know that children need to hear that. But it saddened me to think of kids who don't grow up with that message or who just lose it. Innocence can be lost in just a moment, and that sense of being enough, of being loved, can be wrecked so easily and so quickly. And I think that it is more common than not for this to happen. And then the rest of your life is spent fighting thoughts of inadequacy. It also made me miss my previous job as a teacher. It reminded me of why I taught and why I loved teaching and working with young people. Even though I worked with 8th graders, they are still an impressionable group who really need to know that they're cared for and valued. I think most of the time I did a pretty good job of treating my students with dignity and loving them well. But sometimes I didn't and let my temper or my frustration or ego get the best of me. But I guess now part of my work is to continue sending that message to the students I work with. They still need that message even though they are older and sometimes seem like they have it all together. And maybe even more so, it is important for them to hear that despite their baggage, they are still lovable and still valuable.
We recently had our first ever video contest among the Truman Media Network outlets. The theme for this round was commercial. Here's the winning video submitted by Rachel Whitehouse.
Hi, I'm Mandy, and have I got the product for you? You might have heard of this, or you might have heard of this, but have you heard of this? This product is everything you could want and more. It'll help you with that thing you need help with and the other thing that you need help with. So you should get yours today. This product is sold everywhere that things are sold. It's amazing. But if you're not convinced yet, let's talk to one of our valued customers to see how much he's been enjoying this product. This could be you.
Don't use this product if you like to eat or are planning on eating French fries. This product may cause diarrhea, excessive gas, bleeding from the ear, lucid dreams, sleepwalking, yelling at church, hot dogs for toes, a craving for chicken liver, Republican tendencies, excessive arm growth, allergy to soap, yelling, the British are coming, to your mom, traumatic memories from your past life, death, and eternal damnation. Please consult your shaman if you experience any of these symptoms.
Congratulations, Rachel. TMN TV will now be opening up the contest to the rest of campus. The next theme is reality TV, and the deadline to submit is March 18th. The video length must be 1 to 3 minutes, and submissions and questions can be sent to Katie Varner at kav1516@truman.edu. Thank you for tuning in with us tonight. For complete news coverage, be sure to stay tuned to KTRM, pick up a copy of the Index, and look at Detours Magazine's latest adventure online.
Don't forget to also check out our news content on tmn.truman.edu. You can also follow TMN on Facebook and Twitter for breaking news updates. And if you missed a part of our broadcast tonight, check out TMN on YouTube.
If you've ever thought about being on TV, be sure to head on over to tmn.truman.edu/apply to fill out an application today. From all of us here at TMN, thank you for tuning in and have a great rest of the week.